Hey guys, this is Emily with the Community Foundation, and in this video I'm going to be walking you through all of the technical aspects of your Give for Good profile, how to build and edit each piece, and what each piece means. So let's go ahead and get started by logging in. We're going to go to the Give for Good homepage, which is giveforgoodnla.org. And once we get there to the homepage, we're going to move over to the login button, and we're going to log in as a nonprofit. Since we're all participants currently, we're going to log in as a returning organization and then fill out your credentials. If you've forgotten your password or you have not reset it for this year, you can use the Forgot Your Password button to reset it, and it will send you an email. So here we are. Once we're logged in, we are looking at the dashboard, and this is kind of where an overview of your information lives. You have announcements from the Community Foundation staff over here. This is a timeline of all of the upcoming dates and trainings that you need to be looking forward to. And then also down here is an overview of your donations that you've received so far. This information will not be populated until giving actually begins on April 20th. But what this means is these are your total dollars raised and donations received across all of Give for Good. We do not utilize the matching funds, so you can just ignore that. And then this is early giving, so giving that takes place from April 20th to May 3rd is considered early giving, dollars and donations received. And then this last one is your fundraising page progress. So you can set goals for your peer-to-peer fundraisers and how much you want to raise through that. And each of these goals will appear here. And to update these goals, you'll just click on each of the buttons to update it. And these do not appear publicly. There is one goal that appears publicly that I'm going to talk about in just a second. So let's look at everything that can be changed on your profile from a public view. You should be familiar with this page already because this is where you went to update your registration information. So this should already be completed and stored here. But if you want to change anything, you can just click Edit My Public Profile, and it will pull up all the fields again. A couple of things to note here on this page. Custom URL is what you get to pick the tag to be at the end of your Give for Good link. So for example, for the Community Foundation's page, this is just a shell page that I'm using as an example. Our profile would be at giveforgoodnla.org/CFNLA. So you can use your organization name, an acronym, you can use a motto. For example, if you wanted your tag to be End Hunger, or if you're a school or an organization with a mascot, you could also use your mascot name. So you can get really creative here and use whatever tag you would like as long as it's not taken. Moving down a little bit, let's take a look at operating budget. Your operating budget number will not appear publicly on your profile. However, we do use the budgets to sort everyone into groups for prizes. So you'll be sorted into a small, medium, or large category for prize awarding, which we will announce those groups at a later date. But also donors can search by budget size in a range when they're searching for nonprofit organizations. For example, a donor could choose to look at organizations that have an operating budget of under $100,000, and so this number will sort you into those predetermined ranges. You have your sector and your parishes served. These also don't appear on your profile, but donors can search by these parameters, and so this affects how you appear in search results. Moving down, you have your public contact information. This is what the public will be able to see, so it is separate from your user. So make sure this is your general email addresses and phone numbers, anything that you would like to display to the public. And then you have your address information. We require both. Mailing address is really important because this is where we're going to mail your Give for Good check after Give for Good Day, so you want to make sure that that one is correct. And then we understand that a lot of organizations may be operating out of a home or a residential address, so you can choose whether you would like your physical, your mailing, or no address published on your public profile. You have your social media and website presence. If you have a link for your website, Twitter, Facebook, any other accounts, you'll provide them here. And if there is an account that you don't utilize, you can just check my organization does not have this account. For example, the Community Foundation does not have an Instagram account. Your mission statement will appear at the very top of your profile, and we're going to take a look at a profile example in just a few minutes. And then we have more about us and testimonials. These are all optional, but I highly recommend filling them out the best that you can so that your organization has a really attractive profile to donors on Give for Good Day. And then at the very bottom here, we have keywords. Keywords are something that words that maybe you didn't get to work into your more about us or your mission statement segment that will help you appear in search results. So any word that appears on your profile or in this keyword section means that you will show up in the search results for that word. So for example, if I was an animal rescue, I would use keywords animals, cats, dogs, shelter, rescue, spay, neuter, anything that applies to your organization that you think donors may use to find you. And just make sure that you're separating the words or the phrases with commas because that's how they'll appear in the search results. Once everything is done in the way you want it, just click Submit to save that information and it will immediately appear on your public site. So moving on to the next section, let's talk for a minute about donation levels. So donation levels are what are going to appear on the checkout page when a donor chooses to give to your organization. If you don't have any donation levels, it will just be a field that asks the donor how much they would like to give, and they will type in the amount that they would like to donate to your organization. However, if you add donation levels, these buttons will appear on top of that field where they can type in their own level and kind of gives a suggestion or a suggested donation amount for donors. So this is a great way to tie a donation amount to a particular need and make an emotional connection with the donors so that they know exactly how their dollars are being used. So you can see a sample one we have here is $25 feeds one family of 4. And so that way donors can really see what their money is being used towards. If you have several here from previous years, you can hide them, and then you can also choose to show them if you have one that was inactive and you'd like to reactivate it, and then they will appear in the order of amount. So it will go smallest to largest. You can also edit them here or delete them entirely. So let's practice by adding a new donation level. And I'm going to make this one larger. Let's say this one is a $250 level, and we're going to scholarship one child to our after-school program. You'll hit Submit, and now you can see that it appears here. Another great strategy to use for the donation levels is to kind of think about your normal donation amounts, and it's a great way to get donors to give maybe a little bit more than they normally would. So if I'm going to donate to your organization and I think, oh, I'm planning to give about $200, but then I see a button that says, oh, well, for $250, I cover an entire scholarship. That's something that I feel comfortable with, so I'm going to bump up to the $250 range. But do keep in mind your standard donations and your Give for Good audience. If you typically only raise, say, $1,000 during Give for Good, it may not be an effective use of the button to put a $5,000 level. So really think about your typical donation levels and the donors that you're trying to reach here. Moving on to multimedia, this is where the pictures and the videos for your profile are housed. So you can see here the ones that I previously have uploaded from other years. You can edit them or delete them if you'd like to upload new ones. You can also move them around here in the order of how you want them to appear on your Give for Good profile. So let's take a look at how we would add a new multimedia entry. So we click Add Multimedia up here. You would enter a title of your image or your video, and then you'd select a type. If you're uploading a picture, it's just going to ask you to add a file from your computer, or you can also add a video from YouTube or Vimeo. They have to be hosted in one of these two places first. So if you select YouTube, then you'll just put your entire YouTube link here and then hit Submit, and all of those multimedia items will pop up here. Programs are where you can give an overview about the different work that your organization does. If you are an organization that has multiple programs, say that you have a food pantry plus a coat closet and an after-school program, you can highlight each of those separately here without making your About Me section on your main profile very, very long and cumbersome. So let's take a look at how to add a program. You'll just hit Add a New Program, and you'll put the program name. So I'm going to use our Community Reads book club as an example. You can also add a budget, and the most important thing here is adding a program name and a description. So I'm just going to put CFNLA's book club, but for time's sake, I'm going to keep it short, but I would recommend writing out a very detailed program description about who you're serving. These are new fields this year. These are provided by Neon 1. I haven't really taken a close look at these yet, but you can select who you're serving here. You can also define long-term success, short-term success, how do you monitor progress, and evidence of program success. So this is more similar to outcomes that you might put on a grant application, but it's a great way to showcase the needs and the successes of each particular organization. And these sections are all optional. Once you hit submit, it will appear on your programs page, and you can add as many as you like. You can move them around by using this button. You can make them inactive, edit them, and delete them as needed. Events are events that your organization hosts. They can be Give for Good related, which if that is the case, you'll have to adhere to the 2021 event guidelines and insurance information as outlined in the resource section, but also events listed here do not have to be Give for Good related. So if you have another event, a fundraiser, a festival, a 5K, anything like that, you can publish your events here throughout the entire year. So it's really simple. You'll just click Add a New Event. You'll fill out the name, date, times, event description. Something that was implemented last year due to COVID was you can select whether it is a virtual or in-person event. And then also you'll provide an event link. So this could be a link to your Facebook event, a Zoom registration, an Eventbrite ticket link, wherever you would like to point donors to go for more information about your event. You'll put it here and then click Submit. Volunteer opportunities are where you can list your volunteer opportunities. So you'll put the name of your opportunity, a description about the work that will be done, location, dates, start and end times, and then also you can publish volunteer contacts. So if you say that you would like to publish contact information, you can put the name and the email and the phone of your volunteer manager here so that they know exactly who to contact to sign up for volunteer opportunities. Then you'll hit Submit, and it will appear right here. Needs is something new this year. These are built to show the in-kind donation needs for your organization. So for example, if you're having a coat drive, a canned goods drive, if you have a need for donated office furniture, you can list those needs here. Works in a similar manner. You'll just click Add, fill out these fields, and hit Submit. So this is a great way to publish needs that your organization may have that are non-monetary. Fundraisers is where you'll see all of your peer-to-peer fundraisers, and we're going to have a completely separate training on what peer-to-peer fundraising is and how to make it effective for your organization. So you'll see your active fundraisers here. You can also view this information under My Fundraisers. But here you will receive an email when a donor or a board member, a volunteer, whoever it sets up a fundraiser on your behalf. You do not have to approve them. However, you can go here and remove them if it's something that you don't want to appear on your profile. So you'll be able to track all of those here. Documents do not appear publicly. These are where you uploaded your nonprofit agreement and your Secretary of State Certificate of Good Standing this year. If you are hosting an in-person event, you will have to upload your event insurance here. This is super easy. You'll just click Add Another Document, and you'll name it Event Insurance. You'll select the type, upload your file, select a year, and hit Submit. And then that will send the document to the Community Foundation staff for us to check. If you've been participating for a while, you'll also see all of your old archive documents down here. Contacts you can ignore because that is something that we're not utilizing for Give for Good Day. So next, now that we have everything on your public profile kind of set up, we're going to look at My Donations. I'm not actually going to click on this because we do have donation information stored there. These are where all the Lagniappe Fund donations come. But when you click on My Donations, this is where you'll be able to see all of your donor information for who gave to your organization. Unless they chose to remain anonymous, you'll receive their address, email address, phone number, the amount, so that you can appropriately thank them after the event, and also use those lists for donor development and relations throughout the year. As a reminder, the Community Foundation sends out a tax receipt immediately via email, so you do not need to issue a tax receipt to these donors. It's strictly to be used for development and thank you purposes. And all donation information from 2017 on is housed here, because that's how long we've been with the Civicor system. Civicor and Neon One system. Again, my fundraisers, where you can track your peer-to-peer fundraisers. And then under my users is where you will select who has access to your Give for Good profile on the back end of things. So if you have other staff members or volunteers that are helping you, you can add users here. So let's take a look at a user that already exists. So I am the user for this account, and I can go here to manage my settings. If I click edit, I can only edit my first name and last name. Something new is that we cannot edit email addresses anymore. So if you do have a new email address, you'll have to add an entirely new user and then go back and delete the old one. You can remove access for somebody from these giving days. Just be careful, because you don't want to accidentally remove yourself and then not have access. And then you can also grant email notifications, which means that they will receive the emails whenever your organization receives a donation. They'll receive an email about that. So to add a new user, you'll just click Add a New User. You'll give a first name, a last name, and their email address, and what will happen is Neon One will send them an email to set up their credentials, so you don't have any hand in creating the password or anything like that. So once you put in this information, you'll hit Submit, and it will trigger that registration email to that email address. Lastly, we have resources. This page also exists on the front side under the For Nonprofits tab, but this is where we house all of the important documents to help you have a successful Give for Good. We have training resources, marketing resources, and we update these pretty frequently, so keep checking back to your resources tab to see what is new here. So now that we've gone over all of that, let's take a look at an example page of how it's going to look like on your profile. So you can see all of the elements that we edited under My Public Profile appear here. We have your contact information. These are all of the links that were provided for your various social networks and websites. Your mission statement appears at the top. And then we have the multimedia, your pictures and your video. Any fundraisers, these are the peer-to-peer fundraisers, will appear right here. And then we have our More About Us and the Testimonials section here. So this is where you want to provide the overview about your page. And you can go and look at your public profile at any time after you make changes to make sure it's appearing to the public how you would like it to. Programs, these are where all of those programs are going to appear. If you have more than one, it will appear in a list section. And when you click View, there will be a little pop-up that tells you more about each program. Events, if you have any events, they will be listed here. Any volunteer opportunities will be listed here, and again, it'll have a little pop-out window that tells you more about each volunteer opportunity. And then any needs you have will be listed here. So this is a really comprehensive view of everything that your organization provides and needs. Something that we highly suggest is utilizing the events, the volunteer opportunities, and the needs, because people contact us a lot of the time at the Community Foundation, and they ask about nonprofit events, and they also ask about volunteer opportunities, and we direct them to the Give for Good website. So we tell people to go under the Community tab. You can see here, if I click on Volunteer, I can see all of the volunteer opportunities that organizations have uploaded, and then I can also see all of the events for an entire year. So in the past, Give for Good has typically been 1 day to 2 weeks out of the year, but we want to transition the Give for Good site into a year-round resource for the community. So make sure that you're adding your year-round events and volunteer opportunities here. And then we're working on developing a needs section as well for this. So thank you guys so much for sticking with the tutorial. If you have any questions, please give us a call or email us at giveforgood@cfnla.org.